deepest heart's desires become reality. At Set to Love, we offer strategies and ideas on how you can stay out of crazy town. See, your human experience is meant to be lived with meaning, purpose, and creativity. You are here to contribute through your essence. We are best friends, moms, entrepreneurs, and above all, find our flow in assisting you to find yours. We come together weekday mornings to bring you ideas to fall deeper in love with your life and the journey that you are on. Take what works and ditch the rest, and always stay set to love. Thank you for being a part of this community. We're all designed to live in flow. So let's go. Living life on purpose is our topic today with our wonderful guest, Michael Legge. He is a former actor turned mind health coach and is an amazing human being. I've been following him now for several months on Instagram, and you should too. So many beautiful lessons, an amazing speaker, by the way. So welcome, Michael Legge. But before we say hi to you, I want to say hi to my best friend, Shelley, and everyone out there. Good morning, best friend.
Good. I'm doing fantastic. Good morning. I'm really excited for this time with Michael. Yay.
Me too.
So happy.
Michael, welcome to Set to Love.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
And it's morning for us and night for Michael. That's so cool. You know, he's having dinner and we're going to have breakfast.
Yes,
where are you at?
I'm in Copenhagen, so it's evening time here. Yeah, it's about 6:30.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. I love it. Well, I love the accent. So I'm going to be really just like this the whole time, listening to whatever you have to tell us. So why don't you first start out by telling us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to get into this space of being a mind health coach?
Sure thing. So, yeah, my name is Michael. I am the mind health coach. I help people get their minds fitter, healthier, and happier. I worked actually as a professional actor for about 20 years. And about 5 years ago, I transitioned completely into just coaching. So I put acting on pause. And now I work full-time as the mind health coach.
What did you love about acting? What was like the thing that really lit you on fire while that was your purpose in life for those 20 years? What was the favorite thing about that?
So it's very interesting because since I started coaching, and particularly full time, I've been looking at all of the parallels in terms of, because I felt very purposeful as an actor, to be honest. I felt I had my purpose and I felt very much in flow most of the time. But what I love about coaching and what I loved about acting are very similar in that you have a chance to change people's perspective with storytelling and with character. And I know for sure, I never really had a favorite medium. I loved theater, TV, and film. But the thing I loved more than anything was when I could tell that people were genuinely impacted in a way that perhaps they started to think differently. And yeah, that was very much my favorite thing.
I'm curious with this is, how did you know you were supposed to be a mind health coach? I mean, did you just wake up and, all of a sudden you just got this idea of, I've learned all these things over these years, or, how did you know that was going to be your next passionate thing?
Brilliant. Brilliant question. I essentially, at the height of my, I became quite successful. I became very successful at a certain point and over a number of years. And I was booking movies and TV shows and theater jobs, and it was going exceptionally well. But what I find is the more success I got, the more stress I felt, and the less able I felt. I felt less able to deal with the pressure of it, I think. is the best way to put it. And I knew there were just a ton of obstacles in my own mind, essentially, that were holding me back. And it was incredibly frustrating for me to think that, at the end of the day, this is me that's, not enjoying what I always wanted,
Mm-hmm.
I felt that, I was, on paper, I was at the top of my game. I was working with the best actors, the best directors. But inside, I was super anxious. I didn't feel very comfortable with the public side of things, and it got to a point where I knew that I wanted to go off and discover a bit more about my identity, because I felt I was being given so many signs that I played all these different characters, but I hadn't really had time to kind of stop and say, who am I actually, and what do I want, and ultimately, what is my purpose, in life? What do I want to contribute, and how do I want to contribute it, and all those questions that I think people get to when they feel that they just can't kind of deal with pressure or stress. That's certainly where I was. So that's where the mind stuff came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked. Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, what really stuck out with me, though, is you felt that pulling to find out more, which is, Eva and I talk about that a lot, about following your heart, and you felt that pull. So I just needed to point that out.
Yeah. So that leads me to my next question, though, was and I see this with a lot of people, like myself included, when you've done something for so long, like I started a charity and I did that I still do it. 20 something years. It's really hard to envision yourself doing something else, just as committed, just as passionate, with just as much success. Like, did you feel that? Were you afraid stepping from something that you knew so well, top of your game, and it's like calling you to do something else? You're like, wait a second, I've worked so hard to get here, and now I'm feeling this pull this way. What was that moment like for you? Or did you even have that? Am I making that up?
No, I had it for sure, and it was terrifying. It was terrifying because essentially on paper, I was leaving something that was very successful. Mm-hmm. And as much as I said leaving, I think the thing that wasn't so terrifying, and still I don't feel that terrified about it, is because I don't feel I've made a decision as such. I've kind of put stuff on pause until the day that I can maybe do both. But in my heart, I knew that I had to come away from it for a while, and that was terrifying. Because of what I built up, and because I wasn't entirely sure what I was doing, but I knew, as you talk about the pull, I love that expression. I felt a pull, and I'm still not quite sure where it came from, but it was just this kind of intuitive. With my clients, I talk about intuition as your inner thing. And my inner thing was on fire for at least, a good few years, saying, there's more you have to do here. There's more going on and part of it was to do with my own well-being, of course, and reducing my own stress and anxiety. But it felt a lot bigger than that. It felt much more, there's more connection to be made, both to yourself and to other people, and something much bigger than, just you getting nervous about auditions or remembering your lines or worrying about how well a film has done
I think that's beautiful, though, because you're really being true to your own heart. You're listening to what it is that you really need to be okay. And I would assume that the reason you're really good at what you do is because we start with ourselves. Part of why Eva and I are here is just partly from our own journeys of what we have to give back. So I think it's a beautiful thing that you are a mind and health coach now, because it's so pure, Michael. Really cool. So could you tell us a little bit about, what the coaching is like, how that's improved your life?
Yeah. So in terms of the day-to-day coaching, or how I feel doing it, just generally?
However, whichever one, but I kind of like
Yeah.
how you feel, how it changed, and gave you that peace inside to where you feel content.
Yeah. So I think do you know those days when you come home and you feel, you're pretty tired. You're super tired, actually. You're super tired, but you feel incredibly fortunate to feel that tired because you feel you've genuinely done something decent, whatever that may be.
Yes.
I used to have that, as an actor, infrequently, because of course, as an actor, you're not working solidly. And so every so often I would get that lovely, deep feeling of, I guess it's like a kind of joyful exhaustion. I've really contributed something today, I've made a difference. I now pretty much have that most days. And that's the biggest difference, because there's a lot of unknowns in the acting world, and essentially you're always essentially under the direction of someone else as well. The way I've set up the Mind Health Coach, it's me. For now, it's me, and it's my program. It very much comes from with the understanding that everyone has a different brain, but it very much has come from my journey and my greatest lessons. And I feel very much in charge of it, and I feel very much like I own it. And for that reason, it's super authentic. And with acting, obviously, there's very little of that. You're very much under the control and the charge of other people, and for the right reasons. Actors should never be left to to call the shots. So in terms of that feeling of, I do most nights I go to bed and I feel I feel good from today, and that's a really nice feeling.
Would you say like that's the secret sauce for people, is if you're doing something where you don't feel that joyful exhaustion at the end of the day, then you're not where you should be, and you got to keep tweaking? Or what's the goal for the people that you work with? What is like the outcome that you want them to feel or have or experience at the end of working with you on a journey? So maybe they're like you, where they have been on this path doing one thing, they feel pulled to do something else, they're not sure. What's the goal there for them?
Great question.
Yeah, brilliant question. So of course, for me, it's a very personal feeling. So that's how I describe it for me. For somebody else, it may be, connecting better in their closest relationships. It may be starting a business and feel like a charitable business or something where you feel you're contributing better. And it's always going to be different for everybody, that feeling. I don't think that's set. So I would never say you must at the end of every evening feel like you've had this super fulfilled. I have, to be honest, I have a slight confusion in how I feel about the whole kind of high performance industry as well, because in one respect, I feel like a high performance coach, but every time I describe myself as that, I feel a little like I'm ignoring the fact that not everybody wants to come home at the end of the day and feel exhausted. Some people just want to feel more connected. Some people just want to feel like they're making some kind of difference in the world. It's not necessarily about, you have to be at your very best or you have to live your best life. Everyone is perfect as they are. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. Some of that stuff can be teased out for sure. But this whole world of, and I find this difficult because half of my head says, well, I'm a high performance coach. I help people to perform better, in their personal and professional life. And I do. But half of me says, everyone's perfect as they are. So most of the work, I kind of go between both. I kind of try, half of my work is convincing people that you have all the resources within you that you will ever need to deal with anything that life throws at you. And more so, you're exactly where you're meant to be, you know, right now. We hear that a lot, but I so believe it. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Often, you know, people are in the pit, you know, in the absolute bottom of the pit, and that's exactly where they need to be for the next bit, which is going to be amazing. And as long as we hold on to that kind of faith that, you know, all of the turmoil and all of the negative stuff that often happens, I think we can look at that with faith and understand that at some point it's going to turn around, and there's going to have been a reason for it. And the reason won't have been negative. It'll be about growth, and it'll be about, at the end of the day, finding out who you are, what you want, and how you can contribute, you know, better to the world.
I feel like when you said all that, all I keep thinking is you're also teaching people to be true to themselves. That it's okay. I'm enough. I'm good. And life is going to give me ups and downs. But the truth is, what you're teaching in the mind is to be true. Like, you followed your truth. Yes, we have purpose, but if we don't really have truth, what do we have? Right.
Right.
So I think that that's really, really beautiful, Michael, that, you know, how you're helping people to see life and that they're enough. That's contributing a lot.
And you know, one thing we talk about too is we say 51% joy. 49% of your day can be a challenge, can be hard, can be whatever. As long as 51%, it was like you did something that just brought you 51% joy for your day, so you can check, and like whatever else happens, that good thing happened, or you held that gratitude, or whatever it is. So it's okay that there's challenges in life, and it's okay that you go through these dark times, because without those, you don't even recognize the good. If everything was always good, then you wouldn't even know it. So we have to have that contrast, I think. And so whenever those hard things come up, I say to myself, there's value in this. There's value in this moment. There's value in this moment, even though I don't know what it is right now because I don't have the perspective. But eventually down the road, I'm going to be able to look back and go, oh, that's what I learned. Or so even in those times, like holding gratitude for those challenges or those transitions in our lives, or the leveling up, whatever, I say nothing's ever wasted, right? So all your acting, everything that you've done in your life, now you're making these videos, now you're out here speaking to the world, like you're using so many of those techniques in just a different way. So nothing's ever wasted in our lives.
But yeah, he does. He has so much purpose in helping the world. And I just feel so much genuine love and compassion that comes from you, Michael. And I'm sure you're going to do, or you're already doing amazing. I'm for sure going to be following you.
She's like, I just hit follow. And I said, good.
I'm following him.
Thank you so much.
Any last tips that you want to give people, like if they're out there in their journey, if they're not sure about where they're going, if they're feeling like pulled to do something else, what would be like a last message that you might give to someone out there?
I would say that if you, I believe very strongly that we all have certain talents within us and gifts within us. We absolutely all have that. They're different. We have different brains, different conditioning, different experiences, of course, but we definitely all have inner talents. And I think most people in the world get super frustrated and unhappy because they're not using something. They're not fully embracing a talent that if they sat down and really thought about it, they would be able to say, yeah, I'm a brilliant artist, but I kind of stopped doing that years ago. And often it's the things in childhood. Think of things maybe from your childhood that you really enjoyed or that came really easily to you. You know, writing stories. I used to love writing stories as a child, but I haven't done that for years. Things like that. So the one thing I would say is explore, discover your hidden talents, or if you know right now what your talents are and you're not using them, maybe make a little plan to sit down and talk to somebody about how you can get them out there into the world, because that's real purpose, isn't it? That's contribution. When you have a talent, and what a wonderful thing to be able to share it with other people and actually help with it.
Michael, how can we find you? People are going to want more of this. How are they going to find you?
So Instagram is a good one. I just started my account a couple of months ago, but it's at TheMindhealthCoach. So at TheMindhealthCoach, or www.TheMindhealthCoach.com. Or of course, if anyone ever wants to email me, michael@TheMindhealthCoach.com.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Michael, I'll make sure all of that stuff is in our show notes for everyone. Hang on for a second while we say bye to everyone watching. Thanks everyone for being here today on Set to Love. You can find us here weekday mornings. And if you have a question for us, or you would like to be a guest on our show, you can email us at settolovepodcast@gmail.com. Michael, thank you so much for being here. I love you, best friend. Thank you for being on this journey with me.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Hit the bell, everyone. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell.